Before lunch on day number 2, the Aussie openers put South Africa to the sword.
Pulled away very well indeed. 6.
Gee, that's a good shot. Beautiful shot.
And there he brings up his 50 with a classy shot.
50 for Watson.
Post-lunch, South African bowlers backed up by excellent catching came back with a vengeance.
Edged and terrific stuff.
Taking it on, there's a man out there. Oh, what a catch! What a fantastic catch by Imran Tahir. Oh, that looks out. That looks so straight. Yes, he's done it.
Got an edge. Has he taken the catch? Yes.
Out. That is so straight. Yes, Mr. Gould. Bowled him out.
Dale Steyn was chief destroyer, with Imran Tahir mopping up the tail. Australia lead by 30, but it's still anybody's game. It's day number 3 in the Sunfoil Test match between South Africa and Australia, and we come to you live from the Bidvest Wanderers in Johannesburg. Well, there you go, everybody ready for the start of day number 3. The spectators are in pink and the commentators are ready as well. Let's join them.
Well, welcome to the 3rd day of the final test match between these two countries. South Africa, the hosts, and Australia, the visitors.
South Africa's only won once at the Wanderers since isolation ended. That was in '94. And funny enough, this test match is in a similar position to what that one was. Both sides got fairly similar totals during the first innings, and then South Africa came and batted well in the second innings, posted a big one and had enough time to bowl Australia out the second time. So that will be the intention today as well. It'll be difficult for Australia. The momentum is with South Africa. Australia collapsed yesterday afternoon after they were going so well. They were dominating the game. So from a mental perspective, they'll have to bounce back and bounce back strongly today. So Graeme Smith, he played very well in the second innings in Cape Town for that match-winning 100. And then, of course, Jacques Rudolph with him, who needs a big score. He played well for his 30 in the first innings, but he's had a few starts in the series, and he needs to try and go on and get a bigger one today.
Looks as if, well, there was one ball bowled, wasn't there, of the over, so it'll definitely be Mitchell Johnson to bowl to Graeme Smith. It's all a bit of a mystery how the light could have changed in 30 seconds, but anyway. South Africa have only beaten Australia once at this ground in 5 tests since 1992. That was in 1994. And a win or a draw in this game will see South Africa win its first home series against Australia. Mitchell Johnson, bit of an enigma on his day. Deadly. When the radar's not quite right, he can be disappointing, but he's one of those guys who you always want in your team because he can just turn games round. Billy Bowden from New Zealand, standing in his 69th Test match. And alongside him, Ian Gould from England, standing in his 23rd. We seem to be a little bit late starting. I had the start time down as 10:20. It's now 10:25. I'm reminded that 10:22 was the official start time. It's also a strange time. So as you would have heard earlier, and if again you weren't tuned in at the top of the hour, as it were, the black armbands are in memory of Basil D'Oliveira, who passed away yesterday afternoon at around about 12:30. The first runs of the day. Basil had illustrious career for Worcester in England. I played against him for the whole of my career for Surrey against Worcester, and he was a fine player and he was a fine man. And he's been battling an awful illness for some time now. And our condolences to his family and friends are heartfelt.
So we talked yesterday, we thought that the first session would be very important from both sides' perspective, and it was, but the game only really changed and turned on its head after lunch. Jacques Rudolph off the mark as well. South Africa really found their form with the ball in the afternoon session, but Australia will be aware that they've got to try and do something similar, but in this first session, because if they allow South Africa to get away and get away well, it'll be tough for them to pull it back.
2 without loss.
So Pat Cummins has got a big job to do. Bowled well in the first innings. Jacques Rudolph has nicked a few in the series, and Cummins does move the ball across the left-hander. So 2 things that Jacques Rudolph will have to do. The one is that he'll have to leave well outside off stump, and the second is that when the delivery is up there, he's just got to try and get that front foot closer to the pitch of the ball. He's got to try and get further forward, and that'll help him.
Sweetly timed.
Well, that was perfect balance. And that is a beautiful stroke. That'll give Jacques Rudolph a lot of confidence.
Most left-handers are very good off their legs, but as Kepler pointed out in his analysis of that, you need still to be balanced. His head was nice and upright. We saw Ricky Ponting get up 3 times in this test series already, LBW, with his head on the offside of the ball. Good shot. Solid shot off the back foot. 10 without loss. So a third of the deficit is now wiped out. 10 without loss. The deficit 30. That'll be South Africa's first mini target. Get things back to level. And hopefully with all 10 wickets in hand, as far as they're concerned. That's a nice line. That's well played by Smith, and he spotted the single straight away, splitting the field. I just think that for him, as he's learning this game, one of the hardest adjustments is that if, and you were left-handed, Kepler, and a very good lever of the ball, did you not find that inexperienced bowlers would, because you'd left them and left them and left them, and they weren't going anywhere, then they'd straighten up and invariably get the length wrong. When they changed the line, they'd bowl it maybe a little bit full.
That's when, as a batsman, you're winning the battle. 4 more, 2 full and 2 wide. Not exactly where Jacques Rudolph wanted that to go. He was looking more through the covers, but it gave off a thick outside edge, and yet again running away in that third man area for another boundary.
And that wipes out the deficit, so South Africa's mini target of get rid of the deficit without losing a wicket has been achieved. Now you just start the innings, and you've already had a little bit of a net.
Better, full face of the bat this time, so 6 overs gone, 30 without loss.
You beauties. Another good shot, another good solid shot. We saw Jacques Rudolph play this just earlier in the morning. This was just as exquisite.
Shot of the morning so far. Not too much wrong with the delivery, but it just shows you how good a pitch this is. It's coming onto the bat. This was driven on the up, and the timing was spot on. Not a great deal of footwork, but Jacques Rudolph waited for it, played it underneath the eyes, right out the middle of the bat. That is just excellent. That just illustrates when you play the ball late, that is the way to go.
Oopsie, oopsie. Straight up in the air. Healy takes the catch. And Cummins, good comeback from him. Did him for pace, I fear.
Well, as an opener at test level, you can't waste starts, and unfortunately Jacques Rudolph this time wasted one, because this delivery was a good one. It was a bouncer, but he didn't need to go after it, not yet anyway. It got onto him quicker than he thought, off the leading edge, off the top edge. Brad Haddon making no mistakes. So Australia, they get a breakthrough. They needed one as well, because Jacques Rudolph was looking good. So he's gone for 24, South Africa 40 for 1.
Hashim Amla, the next man in. 1946, nearly 47 with 4,000 runs in his 53 matches. And Rudolph just hit a beautiful 4 through extra cover. Then his cramp for room 2's late on it, top edge. Haddon makes no error. And Rudolph will be sitting in the dressing room now, just wondering whatever made him do it. End of a good Cummins over, 40 for 1.
Here's Mitchell Johnson with his short run up.
Yeah, back into the attack for Mitchell Johnson, which would suggest that Peter Siddle will now operate from the corner drive end after Cummins is finished.
That's a good shot. That is such a good shot. Off the back foot, punched just in front of point for 4 by Graham Smith to bring up South Africa's 50.
Yeah, very good shot here by Graham Smith. A little bit of width on offer. He punched confidently off the back foot. When a player can play these kind of shots, there's no doubt that the surface is good. Waited for it to come to him and punched it square. Good timing, perfect placement.
Big shout from Mitchell Johnson. Nothing doing from umpire Ian Gould. A look around to see if perhaps the decision will be questioned and reviewed. No. 50 for 1.
Yeah, Pommy, as you talked about, Smith being out of touch. Often the positive talk in the change room is you're only 1 innings away from a big one, and that's exactly what happened in Cape Town, and now he doesn't look back. Runs on the board, has an amazing ability to create confidence in cricket, and so does wickets in the wickets column. Sometimes you just have to be patient. Unfortunately for Australia in the last over, Siddle wasn't patient. 2 full half volleys which Smith cashed in on. But South Africa did so well after the lunch break yesterday, was to string lots of dot balls together, stay on a good line and length, and make Australia make the play.
Yep, the patience you talk about also required from selectors, from supporters, for a talented bloke who may be going through a dip in form. Belief will be another thing, that the guy can come out of it and will contribute significantly from then on. Well played, off the hip, a leg glance for 4.
There's Hashim Amla on strike, and Mitchell Johnson not adjusting his line and length correctly to the right-hander. Easy pickings for Hashim Amla, very strong to the leg side, angled down, just tickles it, and races away for a boundary.
He knows he's got the line just wrong. They've bowled a lot to him out there, outside that off stump, and reinforced that gully region. Have a look at these wagon wheels, and against India, you see how strong he is on that leg side, and that suggests to me they bowled straighter at him. Against the Aussies, they've bowled outside the off stump, and he's scored more in that area there. He likes it. He likes to hit the ball square, does Hashim Amla. Plays late, plays under his eyes, and is quite risky. But the line often determines where the guy's going to score.
Yeah, maybe the Australians would have analysed what he did against India and said, okay, if he's going to score runs, we're going to make him straw to the area that he's not as strong. They would have bowled a slightly wider line. And a lot of those runs that he scored obviously would have been in the second innings in Cape Town.
Yeah, Mitchell Johnson also goes across the right-hander, doesn't swing it back much. They've been asked by Craig McDermott to be fuller. So that's where the runs are if he wants them. And he's got a few, got 100 in this series. 64 for 1.
So there's some of the dignitaries in the President's Suite. Ray Marley in the back of the middle. The sponsors, Sunfor Boys, flanking him, which is nice to see. AK Khan as well, acting president of Cricket South Africa. Now there's a little bit of turn and bounce.
Yes, and Imran Tahir has just jumped out of his seat because I think there might have been some foot marks involved here. Yes, so wide for the left-hander, but still gets in your head. Turn and bounce.
It's got that away nice and fine. There was a scream of catch, but to no avail.
No, never any problems here. Graham Smith was well in control of this shot. Ball just a little shorter and wider, and taking full toll. The outfield very quick.
Cries of catch at this time, and it's been taken. Phil Hughes has taken that catch. That wasn't a particularly threatening delivery, but Lyon will be happy with that, and he'll take that bonus. The captain now departs.
Well, that's a huge dismissal for the Australians. The ball was short and wide, but maybe Graham Smith was undone by a little bit of extra bounce. A little bit quicker delivery and turn and bounce. Phil Hughes takes a comfortable catch behind point, and that is a big breakthrough for the Australians. Graham Smith, who played well for his 36, and South Africa 75 for 2.
To the crease now comes the walking cricket manual. 75 for 2 it is. Over 12,000 runs have just arrived in the middle of the Wanderers on a beautiful day. Australia will be buoyed by the fact that they picked up the wicket of Smith. That is a big one. Also Rudolph, who looked good. So a couple of guys who didn't kick on. And this guy looked superb in the first innings.
And this is the end of Graham Smith. Just a little bit extra bounce. Just undid Graham Smith. He played it same sort of shot earlier on in the over. That catching the top edge and flying away to Phil Hughes. Comfortable catch in the end, and Australians celebrate. Frustration for the South African skipper.
What a beautiful shot that is. Magnificent from the mighty Hash.
Great shot. Foolish delivery, probably over-pitched slightly, but just perfect placement. The timing just superb. And that is right out of the meat of the bat. And placement perfect.
That's 79 for 2.
Next man in, AB de Villiers. We'll be hoping that there's no dramas before the lunch break. You can have a comfortable lunch. Good delivery by Cummins. good line and length to Jacques Kallis. Jacques Kallis, who got off to an absolute flyer in the first innings. 50 came off 37 deliveries. He's taken 18 deliveries just to get 2 this time round. I think the Australians have learned their lesson. South Africa, there you go, 54, 41 deliveries. That was his first innings score. The Australians been much more disciplined to him this time around. No free half volleys like they did in the first go. Got him! Fine delivery, great line and length. Kallis nicks off, comfortable catch in the slip for Clark, and Australia have struck again.
The young man Cummins has done it again for his team. He really has bowled well from the corner drive in. Beautiful delivery, swinging away, finds the outside edge. Captain Clark takes a nice catch. He has been impressive this morning, as Patrick Cummins. It's the big man, Jacques Kallis. He's gone for 2, and South Africa 90 for 3.
So the next man to the crease, A.B. de Villiers. As we mentioned, he would have been hoping for no dramas, but now he's in the cauldron, in the ball ring for just 10 minutes before the lunch break. There's his record, impressive record it's been, with 60 and 61 in the first innings. He's at the crease because of the dismissal of Jacques Kallis. What a wonderful delivery from Cummins. Got the ball to bounce off a very good length, shaped away slightly. Kallis sparred, got the outside edge. Let's have a look at Cummins' seam position on that. Now that's what he wants to find more of as his career goes on. If he can bowl more deliveries like that, he's going to be very effective.
A.B. de Villiers now at the wicket. He was very positive, aggressive in the way that he played in the first innings, and it led to his demise and to South Africa being skittled. Interesting to see what sort of attitude he comes in the second innings of this test.
Wild delivery there, and they'll get through for a bar. Clark has a shot down the bowler's end. Ahmla makes his ground safely. End of the over. 92 for 3. So there's the match summary. This will be the last over before the lunch break. South Africa in real terms 62 runs ahead and 3 second innings wickets down. Ahmla sits there on 26. De Villiers has just faced a few deliveries and he's on 1. But the balance of this test match is very delicate at this stage.
Well, I think Australia are actually on top at a lead of 62, 3 wickets down. Some big men already gone. Graham Smith, big match player. Jacques Kallis, South Africa's main batsman for some time. You know that Ahmla has been sensational in the past few years, but there is a longish tail as far as form is concerned when it comes to the South African batting lineup. So these two have certainly got to add a substantial partnership to get South Africa in a position where they can challenge for this test match.
Extra slip in place there for Hussey. He won't mind Ahmla getting off strike. He wouldn't mind attacking de Villiers for the last 4 deliveries before lunch break. Yeah, I'd agree with you, HT. I think if you had to make a decision on who's on top, I would go with Australia at this stage, particularly due to the fact that most of the wickets have fallen after the lunch break and after tea. So far the history of this test match would suggest that that's the time when the wicket misbehaves most. Marco Hussey giving it an extra shine. He wants this first delivery to de Villiers to swing. I think he'll be disappointed with that one. He's dragged it down at 112, comfortably tucked into the leg side. I think Hussey would have preferred something nice and full and swinging to A.B. de Villiers. And there's the session, 27.5 overs, 94 runs and 3 wickets.
Villiers and Ahmla will just be wanting to get to the luncheon interval here. Do nothing silly. Start again after the break.
I think Hussey's lucky to get away with that one. One could have been called a wide.
Is the service, please, Huss?
And Gould might be a little bit hungry.
Another warm-up wicket, please.
The lunch break will be an opportunity for the Australian bowlers to have a nice break, have a shower, come back refreshed. They've toiled hard. It's been a 2.5 hour session. It's been very hot out there. Last ball dealt with, and that'll be the lunch break. Hashim Amla remains unbeaten on 27, and AB de Villiers is still there on 2. So it's a lunch on day 3. South Africa 94 for 3, leading by just 64 runs. And I think the Australians will feel like they got the best of that morning session. Amla stood tall. It's been a good effort by the Australians.
Well, it's session 2 of this deciding test match between South Africa and Australia, and we've had a very exciting session. The morning session was a good one, and this session coming up now will be a very important one. Australia got 3 wickets in that first session. South Africa started off well, but then lost some key wickets. The first one to go was Jacques Rudolph, followed by Graham Smith, and then just before lunch, the all-important wicket of Jacques Kallis. So South Africa now lead by 64. Australia had a good morning with the ball. Patrick Cummins, well, he was the pick of the bowlers. He bowled quite superbly. AB de Villiers got a whack on the foot just before the lunch break, so hopefully he's recovered. Patrick Cummins bowled an excellent spell just before lunch, and when he finally got rid of Jacques Kallis with a beautiful delivery after some really quick, intense, hostile fast bowling.
Just a reminder, the second session yesterday, South Africa picked up 4 wickets and conceded only 51 runs. They were terrific. Can Australia do a similar thing? I'm going to be very interested to see how AB de Villiers plays this. Kepler?
Well, I'm hoping that he's really going to dig in and play a responsible innings, that he'll be patient, that he'll try and adopt the strategy that he's going to be keeping the good ball out and then looking for the bad one to hit for 4, but composure is what he needs. This is a very important partnership. We've got Ashwell Prince to come and Mark Boucher, but South Africa a little bit suspect in the tail department.
All but 20 of his runs in the first innings in boundaries, 11 fours. He really did play superbly, looked in great nick for someone who hasn't been playing all that much. Oh, that's put down. That could have been caught and bowled.
There was an opportunity, definitely. AB de Villiers also looking for the short one, didn't get into position quickly enough on the front foot, played too early, didn't go that quickly back to the bowler. I'm just not sure whether Patrick Cummins was unsighted, or maybe just couldn't get that right hand out in time.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute blinder had it been taken. It was past him basically by the time he reacted, but just took the fingertips.
That front foot just didn't move. Would have been run out as well if that deflected onto the stumps.
They've gone up for that. That's not a bad shot, actually. It might be just sliding down the leg side. Billy Bowden's not excited. Pat Cummins is looking towards Haddon and Clark to see if there's any reason to send it. Yes, they're sending it.
Height might be an issue. It's a good delivery. It swung, and it swung pretty late.
Let's have a look first of all and tick this box. That's fine. It's a legal delivery. Let's have a look and see the line, of course, if there was any connection with the willow as well. There's no connection, but I think Chopper's straight on the button. I think height is going to be an issue, even though he's a little bit unbalanced.
Well, it's a good delivery. It opened up Hashim Amla. The question is it going to go over the stumps? Pitched in line, so no problems there. No bat involved. So what about the height?
So it's hitting the top roll of the pad. He's playing from the crease, so there's no connection with the willow and hotspot. So we've got confirmation with the ultra motion replay of no connection with the bat. Confirmation again from the other side. Cameras square are telling us there's no hotspot.
Well, it's a very good delivery. Pitching on line, height could be the only issue, and it's not.
So umpire's call, it goes to the original decision. There we go. Umla survives.
Only just.
So they lose a review to Australia. 95 for 3. So Umla not out on 27 at the moment. He's been nice and patient, of course, out there, which is the way he plays when he's wearing the whites. Cullis didn't last too long, and of course it was Cummins who picked him up. So that's something he's going to remember for a long time. He got Umla in the first innings. Cullis now in the second, along with Rudolph. So he's picked up 2 and has been very impressive with his 2 for 28. And AB de Villiers has just arrived. Mitchell Johnson is going to have a bit of a burst just after the break as well. Optimistic from the boys behind.
The only thing is that he is still around that 137k mark, so that is not too bad. So maybe if the shorter run-up is enabling him to bowl with a higher bowling action, he might swing it more. So that's Watson. He's back on the field, but not able to bowl, unfortunately.
And maybe for some time.
The one down to fine leg. It's a bit of a risk taking Shane Watson into a test match as part of a 4-prong pace attack, because you're just never quite sure whether he's going to last the 5 days.
Interesting also, Kepler, to see what they're going to do with Ryan Harris. He's another liability these days. Mind you, the teenagers covered a base.
Well, that's why he's been such a find. I wouldn't say that they can build their attack around him yet, but it's certainly going to help.
It's fine, and it's 4. That'll frustrate Mitchell Johnson. Brings up 3 figures for South Africa for the loss of 3 wickets. At the moment, South Africa 70 runs ahead. Cummins.
Excellent delivery and beautifully played by AB de Villiers. A good, solid-looking defensive stroke. This was the last delivery of the previous over. Down leg side, so disappointing delivery from Mitchell Johnson, particularly off that short run-up. Hashim Amla, as we know, very strong on the leg side.
Just past the outstretched hand of Brad Haddin. I'm not sure there was, yes there was. There was some bat on it. It's been given a 4. There's a little bit of a sigh of relief, I think, maybe for de Villiers as well.
Went finer than AB de Villiers intended, but effective enough. There's too much leg side by Cummins. Came off the glove. Fortunately got enough glove to it to take it away from Brad Haddin.
Big shout this time from just about everyone around. Are they going to go up for this one? Billy Barton says not out. They've got 15 seconds again to make the call. Cummins is looking at his captain. The captain's looking at the keeper. And they've decided against having a review. 107 for 3. Mitchell Johnson again. I thought that might have been the last of it. No, he's decided he wants one more to have a go at Hashim Amla. In the commentary box, Alan Border and Robin Jackman.
Thanks very much, Michael. (115 for 3). equates to 85 for 3. Intriguing test series this has been, really has. Leg slip now. One slip and a gully and a leg slip, 3 catches. Is that something that when your bowler asks you, Alan, I'd like a leg slip, do you then expect him to bowl that line on a permanent basis?
Probably not on a permanent basis, but you're sort of playing with the batsman's mind a little bit when you're putting a leg slip in. He thinks, well, I'm going to get a lot of deliveries, you know, body line or outside my leg, so I've got to be careful how I play it. But not every delivery, I don't think. Because you do want to keep the batsman guessing to some degree, but it does play with your mind when leg slip goes in.
And no ball there from Mitchell Johnson, and I would say one of the better deliveries that he's bowled, other than the illegality of it in terms of a higher arm and the pace that went through. That's not good running. He's got in, but a very, very late call. I think he's got in. It's going to go upstairs, and there's certain celebration from but wow, that was a late call from Amla.
Well, my gut feel is he's made it. A direct hit, he was gone, but just a good piece of fielding from Khawaja, and at this point he's gone. But there, well in. I don't know what Brad Haddin's over celebrating, but clearly in by a long, long way.
Here a nice little crowd will get involved here. Oh yeah, they did. It brings your heart to your mouth when you see it all in slow motion, because you wonder, well, it looked like he was going to struggle for a while. 117 for 3. Nearly 16,000 people in here today eventually, and I'm so pleased to see that more have come in than were here this morning. It's not often the South African public have an opportunity to watch a test match whereby the team is 1-0 in front in a test series against Australia. Having said that, disappointed there aren't 25,000 here.
It's been good support, hasn't it, for the Breast Cancer Think Pink Day. So many people have got into the spirit of things.
He's gone for it as well. It's a big appeal. I think he might have just got outside the line, but what is going on? I've got to ask myself.
I'll tell you what, if I was the coach, I would not be happy. I don't know whether I'd be sending a message out or not. You can say you can play the shot, but if you get out, don't bother coming back in here.
They've decided not to review it. That's why he's marginally outside the line, I think, on impact. But wow. That's better. And that's 4. And that's over. 123 for 3. Beautiful summer's day, nice and warm here on the high felt. Great atmosphere. Marvellous to play at this ground in this sort of atmosphere. running. That takes the lead to 100, and that's really the total that one needs to look at. Let's take 30 off whatever the total is, because that's what South Africa will have to defend at the end of the day. Beautifully played. Let's concentrate on that shot for a moment.
Outstanding. Just using the pace delivery. It was a quicker ball from Lyon, but wide of the off stump. Amla just into position so quickly and just uses the pace and glides the ball down that third man area. Such clever cricket.
An old-fashioned late cut. When you're looking to survive as well as score, premeditation shouldn't be part of makeup. 135 for 3. Now Michael Hussey.
Interesting change. Michael Hussey coming on to bowl. Clark just bowled the 1 over. Maybe he's just going to change ends himself, because he bowled 1 good over, which was a maiden.
I can only assume that it is a change to change ends here, because just be 1. And that brings up the 50 partnership between these two. Very necessary partnership for their team, and very necessary that they put on another 50. But one at a time. Well played.
It's been very good. They've mixed it well, haven't they, with some resolute defence and good attacking play. A couple of reverse sweeps in there, and very well played overall.
And that's the end of the 44th over. It's 140 for 3, and the umpires have brought drinks onto the field of play.
Break's always good, I feel, for the bowling side, particularly in a situation where an hour has gone by and a wicket hasn't fallen, so a partnership has formed. Just break it up a little bit. Need the batsman to concentrate anew and start again, and it just gives you a chance.
It's that break in concentration that you don't want as a batsman. You get yourself into a rhythm, your feet are moving well, you're feeling confident, and then a drinks break arrives and you relax a little bit, and sometimes you just switch off, and that's all that the opposition need, is just that moment. And test matches, any sort of cricket match, can be won and lost at a break. So South Africa will need to dig in again. We know that Amla's the more circumspect of the two that are at the crease at the moment, but he is certainly, when he's in full flight, he's as free-flowing as anyone else.
Oh, what a shot. There's a man out there, but he won't get there. It was so well struck by Hashim Amla. It goes all the way for 4. Brings up 50. A stylish player as Hashim Amla deserves all the applause. It's his 20th Test match 50, and South Africa needed it here.
India have rolled Dravid. South Africa have Hashim Amla as Mr. Reliable. What a beautiful stroke to go to your half century.
His 5th against Australia, his 4th here at the Wanderers. Eyes didn't quite get into the gloves as he would have liked Brad Haddin, and so fluffed it.
I think selectors need to be commended at times, and Hashim Amla is certainly one of those players. that has benefited through good selection, in that he was selected and earlier on in his career his technique was scrutinized and he struggled a little bit and he was dropped, but he was recalled. And so often once players have been seen and failed at the international level, they are cast aside and never to be seen again. So that is some good selecting that took place as far as the South Africans are concerned.
Yeah, I think guys have to help their cause as well, though. I mean, he went and scored bags of runs and was then reselected, topped the domestic cricket first class standings, averages and weight of runs, and basically forced himself back in. Where selectors have to stay strong and patient. We spoke about this. I was talking to Sean Pollock a bit earlier. As to believe in the guy they've selected and give sufficient time for talent to combine with experience for the guy to then convert scores into big scores and be beneficial to the team. That's well played. The bowler Siddle will hate it, as it's gone for 4. 149 for 3. That's a beauty of a shot. Absolutely fantastic from A.B. de Villiers. He gets 4.
Is there a better sight for a batsman than the straight drive? Overpitched. The execution was absolutely perfect from de Villiers. Again, he doesn't have to hit it hard, he just leans on it. The timing perfect.
Decent bowling, that's the length he's looking for. Good pace on that as well. 143.5 kilometers an hour, and the angle across de Villiers is what he's trying to work with. See, looking to work that onto the leg side. The ball's always going towards the slip cordon, and de Villiers has to hit it in the middle of the bat to try and get it on the onside, but he's got to adjust for the angle. If he doesn't, the edge will be found.
Interesting line of attack for Peter Siddle. Virtually against the real top players, you take out the LBW because the ball's sort of pitching outside leg stump. We know that the great Mike Proctor, he used to bowl around the wicket, but he swung the ball prodigiously back in to the right-hander, so he still was able to create opportunities for LBW. Siddle not swinging the ball much, so he's certainly trying to get Amla to push at something wide of off stump into that slip cordon.
Yeah, it's much harder for batsmen to get out of the way of the ball when you're around the wicket, because it's always coming towards them, and they've got to make the decision whether to ride the bounce and play or to get under it if it's sufficiently short. And if they decide to play as the bowler, you're happy, because you want them to be playing at the ball and trying to get the bat on it, and you hope that there's a little bit of movement and you get the length exactly right, and you can find the edge because of the angle and the movement.
The key for Amla is not to try and hit the ball or to try and get the ball into that vacant point area. By doing so, he will open up the face of the bat, and with the angle that Siddle's bowling at, the ball will just run off the face into the slip cordon. So he wants to be playing as straight as possible. Back up to mid-off, mid-on. He'll probably try and get across. There is that vacant point area. He'll try and get across onto off stump.
.156 for 3. Has had a bit of a rest and now back into it. Gonna get overthrows. Yeah, Mitchell Johnson not happy with A.B. de Villiers there. Yeah, there he goes for it. Bounces. Oh, he was there. And after he fields this, he sees them running. See, he looks back. And after he fields it, he points at him to say, hold on, why are you taking another run? There you go. Nicely played, just helped on its way. And it'll go for 4.
The difference between the pull shot and the hook shot. The line from Cummins is wrong. It's just going down the leg side, and it enables de Villiers to just help it on its way, as you so rightly point out.
Very well controlled. Lots of pace from Pat Cummins. Used it.
He is a young man, Pat Cummins, and he must have plenty of energy, and he's probably very fit. But it's a big ask for him. You know, Michael Clark brought himself on for a few overs, just a couple in fact, to give him a little bit of a breather. But sometimes you need a little bit longer than what he's been given. He hasn't experienced this intensity as far as cricket is concerned. He hasn't even played a lot of first-class cricket. So it's a big ask for a young man. He's been asked to lead the attack, to strike for his team.
Yeah, it is a big ask, and it's a tough test. The breakdown of his spells there, 5 overs up front at the start of the day, 4 just before lunch. He got Cullis in that spell. It was a fantastic spell, and I think just to keep with the momentum, Michael Clark after lunch decides to go with him again, gives him 2 overs in which he bowled well. Again, he finished at about 25 past 1, and he's starting again. It's 2:30, so he's had an hour out there to rest, try and get his energy back. You may think an hour is a long time, it's not. And he's got to try and get back up to top pace and bowl pretty much in the same way that he did prior to lunch and just after. Not easy. .163 for 3. Good delivery, bit of swing there.
Shortened his run up for the second innings. Trying to bowl from a little higher up his release point to aid him getting a little bit more swing. And there is. It's just a hint. And more often than not, that's just enough.
For the over. Yeah, many may sit at home and think that cricket's a lovely, relaxing sport. Blokes out there in white just relaxing on the field, walking about, and you know, a cup of tea here, some lunch there. It's pretty difficult, I can tell you. Physical conditioning, very important, and particularly for fast bowlers. They've got to ensure that they're strong all the way through of the day, and they've got to try and have an impact, as much of an impact at the start of the day as at the end. A skipper calls on his fast bowler and says, right, I need you to break a partnership here. And when you run up and you bowl and you're a bit tired and perhaps you're not as strong as you should be, you can't bowl at the same pace as you did at the start of the day. Can't maintain the pace, so you're less of a danger to the batsman, particularly when they're in.
Well, that would explain why Dale Steyn is as good as he is, because he just seems to get better and he seems to get quicker as the day progresses. South Africa are lucky to have him.
And it doesn't just happen. The gift to bowl fast, yes, he'll have that. But the maintenance of that and being able to repeat it over and over, spell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through the day, that'll be because of training. Making sure that he's strong, making sure that he can endure through the day. Oh, fielded. Very well fielded. It was a good delivery. It was a good shot as well. And that's super work from Phil Hughes at mid-wicket.
In a test match as close as this, every single run counts. You need your fielders to play a big part. Hughes has done that. A wonderful stop. And this outfielder probably would have gone for 4.
Yep, nearly. He knows it. Mitchell Johnson nearly got through, and it was just a little bit of swing. Can't get it this time. And what did you say? Probably for 4. 4 to finish the over. 168 for 3. In the commentary box, Sean Pollock and Mike Hazen.
Thank you, Pommy. Yeah, they haven't got long before their break now. They're going to have to try and break this partnership and have a bit of a breather, put the feet up. They're going to have to come out and do some more work after tea on day 3 of this second test match. There's still so many overs left in the game. Won't get the full allotment of 42 after this, in this day's play, I should say. Still just getting a little bit of movement back in towards the right-handers as Mitchell Johnson. But at the moment, this partnership is crucial.
Yeah, it is, Hayes. I think Michael Clarke seems a bit reluctant to bowl line to the 2 right-handers, so he would love a breakthrough and Ashwin Prince at the crease. If he could turn to his spin bowler to try and dominate through the middle.
Open the blade. Down a third man for another boundary. Just keeping things ticking over nicely, these two.
The frustration here for Australia, for the bowler Mitchell Johnson. As you say, Amla just opening the blade, but he wouldn't have wanted to go through the slip and the gully region. It's worked out well for him. He's picked up another boundary.
So what do they do in this situation, Sean? I mean, there's no doubt the Australians are a little bit flat, and if they don't get a breakthrough before the break, they didn't come out and be a bit vocal, I guess, and invigorated for the first little while. Again, if it doesn't happen after the tea break, I mean, how do they get themselves back into this game?
Yeah, I think the tea break is going to be important because they can reassess, they can discuss it with maybe 3 or 4 of the senior players, the coach, the captain. But for now, basically need someone just to put his hand up and say, I'm going to be counted, I'm going to try and make the difference. And there's another boundary. Another thick edge. De Villiers opening the face as well. And third man, a very productive area in this over. More frustration for the Australian captain.
Yeah, it's the same as previous. Second boundary in 3 deliveries. Opening the blade again. This is exactly what South Africa want to do at this stage. Lead is 1 shy of 150. Bit of pressure on the skipper, and that tells a bit of a story as well. On 48 now is AB de Villiers. That's where he stays. Shy at the stumps. And he gets a bit of a raspberry from the crowd of the Wanderers. He won't mind though. 179 for 3. Gee, he keeps running in, this youngster. Almost 140 k's per hour. He's doing a sterling job. Let's hope he's nice and strong. Sean, he looks like he is. He's had a couple of back issues we know already, but let's not even think about that because he's a real find.
Yeah, I think he hoped that he didn't have any issues going forward, and I think Australian cricket would want exactly the same. World cricket in many ways. The more fast bowlers there are around, the more exciting the game is. And he does look like a real prospect for his country. That's what we're talking about, different tactics. I like this field that they've got set here. They're going to ball back of a length. Not too many full balls to Amla. They've got a short leg. The man behind squared at a leg gully. Fine legs back, third man.
But a reasonable chance the Husson will be looking to nudge something on the leg side just in front of square to get down the other end. They won't be looking to do anything too extravagant right now, just before the interval. Gee, that's a good delivery. Beautifully directed. He went wide of the crease as well, and whizzing past the nose and thudding into those gloves of Brad Haddin.
He's had some good pace behind it. It's also quite interesting to work out what's been said to Patrick Cummins. He's got Mitchell Johnson at mid-off. He's obviously talking to him, and putting some suggestions in his head about, okay, maybe the next one needs to be slightly fuller. They've now taken short leg and the leg gully out.
Two men back on the hook. Generally means it's going to be pitched up, a double bluff. Husson right behind that one. We mustn't forget, Sean, session number 3 in this test match so far. Day 1, 6 wickets fell. Day 2, 6 wickets fell.
Call it the graveyard session. That was a good change up of length. It just needed to be tighter on the off stump. I'm able to just watch go by. Played many test matches, got 100 in the last test match, did Amla, so he's in good touch. He won't be dragged into a delivery that's of that much width. And there we go, there's the graveyard session, session 3, 6 wickets apiece.
We should put like a pulsing question mark. Session number 3 on day 3. What's going to happen? Doesn't look like there are too many issues with the weather at this stage. Nice and full that time, but worked away down the fine leg. The lead now 154 by South Africa. Score 184 for 3. Nathan Lyon again.
Oh, yes.
Mid-off and mid-on are up in their standard positions.
Straight up.
I'm glad they put a short leg. You always feel like you have to have someone close to the bat, otherwise it doesn't matter. The batsman misjudges the length, he can just prod forward because a bat pad won't be taken. And all of a sudden Amla uses his feet.
Yeah, there's no doubt it just plays on a batsman's mind a little bit, and he will try and make some sort of adjustment to ensure that he's not into play. Brings AB de Villiers on strike now. He's on 49. We need to have a closer look and see if Nathan Lyon's got any variation. We haven't seen much of him, of course, in Test cricket at this stage. He's a far cry from Matai Muralidharan's, Saeed Ajmal's, Mohammad Hafiz, those sort of blokes. He's a standard off spinner. Down the track and back over mid-off for 4. That brings up his 50 in style.
Second 50 of the game for AB de Villiers. Down the wicket, loves to use his feet to the spinners. And this time going over the top and doing it comfortably. 25th test 50. He'll be hoping to build on it, get somewhere and add to those 1200s. 82 deliveries, 9 fours.
I'll tell you what, he's an exceptional cricketer, this man. He really is extremely talented. Eases one to bring up the 100 stand between these two. This is a very important partnership in the context of this test match, and these two know it.
You did right, Mark. It's easy to say it now once they've got the 100. In real terms, at 60 for 3, South Africa had this game still in the balance. And Celliens has laid the foundation for them to go on and build a big total.
So a single off the last ball of the over to retain the strike for Umla. 191 for 3. Nathan Lyon's got quite interesting history. Of course, he hasn't been in the first-class game for very long at all, let alone the Test arena. Groundsman in Canberra, then moved to Adelaide Oval. Was basically struck from obscurity to play in a Sheffield Shield game, but a groundsman, that's what he does. Adelaide Oval, that's his trade. Quite an interesting story in Cape Town. We had a bit of rain at the start of the Test match in Cape Town, and I know all the players were G'd up and ready to go and get going in that Test match, and he was in the Australian players area, and he turned to one of the people involved in the Australian management as the rain came down and delayed proceedings by about an hour and 15 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly. And he just turned to the guy and he said, "You know what, as the groundsmen were pulling out the covers," he said, "I've got a sudden urge to go and help those blokes and pull out the covers."
Yeah, I actually heard that story because he went to the Champions League with the Redbacks after he had some success in Sri Lanka.
He's got a job to do at the moment. 9 overs, 1 for 35. Got a couple in the first innings. Short ball again, well directed. He really is trying, Patrick Cummins. You would know, Shaw, when you're playing up here in the Highveld for the first time, it's not that easy.
Yeah, it's his first game, so sure all the energy's been put in. He's looked very good. He's looked the most likely to pick up any wickets. He's got it through consistently at a good pace. He's bent his back and knocked it into the pitch as well on countless occasions.
That last one at 144 k's per hour, so he's still putting in all the effort. He's certainly got some gas, this man. That one a little bit down the leg side. It's a warm day. I expected of around about 31 degrees Celsius. It's a little bit cooler, by the way, so the weather forecast says for the next couple of days. So we've been showing you some shots from hotspot, some different shots from hotspot. Of course, just a reminder, it's at minus 200 degrees Celsius, this hotspot camera. Just have a look at all the sweat just behind his pads there with AB de Villiers. That's obviously a little bit cooler because of all the sweat and all the air around. That's how it works these days with a lot of the cricket clothing the guys have. Be pretty warm under those helmets. Not that you'd know with the Peaceful Warrior. Doesn't appear to be sweating at all. I'll show you another one of our nice tools, the Ultra Motion camera. Have a look at that. It's a lovely shot of the ball hitting the surface. Every time that happens, there's just a little bit of disturbing. A leg gully, deep and a short leg. And that's a very good delivery to finish the over. Good bowling from Cummins. He's been terrific, I think. That was a maiden, 191 for 3. Good spot, Sean. That is very interesting.
Start, Gaz. On the straighten, bud.
It's a new thing de Villiers has come up with, this like shovel into the leg side defence. Doesn't really need to do it, as there's no silly point or short leg in place. It's out of habit.
Oh, well bowled.
Haven't seen any evidence of an arm ball at all yet from Lyon. I guess he'd be of the old style if he does have one. I'm sure he must have one. Could have some sort of variation, trying to deceive the batsman. It's good work of his own bowling. Off spinners need to be tidy and sharp off their own bowling, particularly on the leg side where Lyon worked then.
Change of angle around the wicket for Lyon, trying to get the ball maybe just to go on straight with the arm, take the edge and go to the keeper or slip, and then get the one that does turn to try and pick up an LBW. It is difficult for finger spinners who don't have too much variation, don't have deuceras in the armoury, because these days most players spend a lot of time in the subcontinent and learn the art of playing spin bowling.
It's optimistic. It's not going to excite umpire Ian Gould too much.
He's got this one to straighten, but well outside the line by de Villiers.
Full toss, bunts that to mid-on. He'll be disappointed with that, I think, A.B. de Villiers. That is the end of the over. That's also the end of the session. So South Africa have done an outstanding job during that session. A stand of 101 between these two, Hashim Amla and A.B. de Villiers. Obviously a delighted local crowd. They'll be happy with his performance. South Africa are now starting to get themselves into a pretty strong position. Still lots of work to be done, we know. We know how quickly in this series things have changed, and at times quite dramatically. So the lead is good, but we've still got plenty of time, plenty of play to go in day number 3 at the Wanderers.
The game was in the balance at lunch, but this partnership by de Villiers and Amla has definitely laid the foundation for South Africa to stand a strong claim on winning this match. 97 runs in the session of 28 overs. Good run rate of 3.46.
So there's one change, I think, will be pretty happy right now. The other one will be pretty keen to put their feet up and take a breather. Maybe a little bit demoralised because of the work the two blokes with the yellow stripes have done. Amla not out 69. A.B. de Villiers not out 54. 89 balls he's faced. To come as Prince and also Boucher. We know they can get runs as Prince did in the first innings. And then 3 seamers and a leg spinner. And those guys are going to be pretty busy, I'm sure, as this match unfolds over days 4 and 5. And look at the partnerships. 101 is the pick of them, but it's pretty tidy, I guess, between Smith and Rudolph for 40 to get things going, and then 35 between Smith and Amla as well. But de Villiers and Amla, they're the stars right now.
There's the bowling figures. Johnson was pretty good of his short run, a little bit more control. Cummins, the pick of the bowlers, no doubt. 2 for 46, picked up the prize wicket of Callis as well. Siddle, he twirled hard but didn't have any success, and then Lyon picked up the valuable wicket of Graham Smith early doors. Hussey and Clark just did a bit of a holding role.
So let's have a look back at the match summary so far in the second and final test of the Sunfoil Test Series. Of course, South Africa won the first in Cape Town. South Africa first innings 266. A bonus of 30 runs by Australia if they also batted once. South Africa now 191 for 3, and they'd lead by 161 runs at tea on day 3.
Down the wicket.
Well, the biggest problem Australia has got at the moment is that Mitchell Johnson's not getting wickets, so that is such a disadvantage for them. A.B. de Villiers looking to score all the time against the spinner, good use of the feet. I'm happier with that than with the reverse sweep. At this stage, he played one beautiful one early on, executed it superbly, but then Hashim Amla tried to follow suit and it didn't quite work.
Fielding. Philip Hughes in that short mid-wicket position.
Well, for the off-spinner, that short mid-wicket is very important. I've seen some really good fielders in that position. Jonty Rhodes. Alan Border was good there. our fellow commentator. He's pretty accurate with his left arm throw from that position. Got a lot of run-outs from there, particularly in one-day cricket. So it's a good tight start by Australia. Second over after tea, last delivery coming up. No runs scored yet.
Down the wicket. Has it gone all the way? Yes, it has. Overruined. 197 for 3.
It's played beautifully. Played a very aggressive innings in the first Test match, in the first innings of this Test match, when he got a half century as well. He's been more measured in this innings, but this was an excellent stroke. Good use of the feet again. Very good weight transfer through the shot, and he kept his head down and played the ball nice and late. He's such a talented individual. Very difficult to contain, difficult to bowl to.
A little bit of shape there for Siddle.
He still looks pretty relaxed, Michael Clarke, but deep down he'll just be starting to get concerned. This lead of 167 is a good one, particularly when you consider there's 7 wickets in the back. Working on the ball, Mitchell Johnson, no doubt hoping for a bit of reverse swing, hoping for a wicket as well.
Pulled away. It's not going to reach fine leg, fortunately for Amla. Tries a catch for a moment.
A surprise bouncer. Not in control of that stroke. Hashim Amla got it very high up in the bat, but fortunately didn't carry all the way down to Nathan Lyon at fine leg.
High up on the bat, hot spot shows almost on the top of the spice, just about hit the shoulder.
That was well bowled, but very well played. Good solid defensive stroke. So it's very good footwork. Got right over the top of that delivery.
It's funny, you know, Kepler, I reckon if he bowled the next ball in exactly the same place, he'd hit it for 4. Or would look to hit it for 4. It's looked quite full. Difficult one for Haddon, that. It's hardly reached him. It probably tickled his fingers up a bit. Who'd be a keeper? Well, 199 for 3. So then he bowled a tidy over. He turned a couple. Just because de Villiers took him on and was successful, I don't think it says much to the bowler. I guess a little, I suppose unfair is the wrong word, but
I'm also not sure about this ploy of Mitchell Johnson's bowling off a short run within himself. Australia have got to try and win the Test match. They need wickets. He's a strike bowler. His strength has been running in, bowling aggressively, attacking the batsman. But he's doing everything but that. Just bowling gentle medium pace, looking to just swing the ball around a little bit like a stock bowler, and that is not his role.
That brings up the 200 for South Africa. This translates into a lead of 170. First 50 and 65 balls, the second in 121, third in 87, the fourth in 91. Wider mid on, should get in easily. Does. It's good backing up from the Australians. One backing up the throw and another backing him up. Excellent attention to detail. It's the performance tracker. He's walked 3 kilometres, he's jogged 1.5, he's sprinted 1.1, nearly 5Ks today. Average length of my morning run before breakfast, Cap.
That's very good, Jackus. I'm sure Jeremy joins you on those.
.202 for 3.
Good shot for 1. That lead starting to look pretty healthy now, 173.
The problem is this series has been so full of batting collapses on both sides that you can't sit there with your feet up overly relaxed in either of the dressing rooms when your team is batting. Yesterday, Australia at lunch, 174 for no wicket, and thoughts of a huge lead was reduced to just 30, and they collapsed for 120. 10 wickets fell after the luncheon interval.
A bit tense there. They know they need wickets. That's the Australian viewing area. Justin Langer on the left there, assistant coach. Justin Langer also the batting coach, so he'll know batting second on this surface may not be that easy. Michael Clarke still looks happy enough, but Ricky Ponting, he needs runs. Well, he doesn't look that happy. Hasn't gone that well since lunch. Looks a bit tired, the big fella. Taking a bit of a nap, maybe. Deep in thought, perhaps.
Of circumspect leaves there from Amla, full of concentration, capable, as we know, of concentrating for long periods of time.
That is his strength, his powers of concentration. Failed in the first innings in Cape Town, and then got a very good 100 there. Missed out in the first innings in this test, but playing a very good hand in the second innings again.
For nothing. When I remember watching you bat, Kepler, and after every ball, if you hadn't scored, you would take a little walkabout to square leg and then walk back and time it so that you knew you would be back and in position to when the bowler turned at the top of his run-up. What were you thinking about in those little walkabouts?
Well, it's very much a switch on, switch off type of concentration. So after you play the delivery, you've got to have a routine where you reassess your strategy and think what the bowler's trying to do and what you're trying to do, and then as he starts his run up, then you switch on again. Good bouncer and well played as well. So 62 gone, 203 for 3.
Now South Africa sit at 203 for 3.
overall lead of 173 here on the third day of this second and final test match of the series. South Africa holding a 1-0 lead, having beaten Australia in 2.5 days at Newlands. This drive, that swing a little bit or something, not sure.
I don't think so. Loose drive by AB de Villiers. We haven't seen many of those today. He's batted very well. This one past the inside of the bat. Maybe just came back in off the seam a fraction. Just try to overhit that ball. Didn't get the front foot close enough to the pitch of the ball.
Interesting looking at Johnson off a long run in the first innings, and have a look at those lengths, Kepler, and I know you want to comment. 52% halfway down, and you look then at the second innings, which we will after this ball, off the short run up, and it's a vast change. 52% halfway down in the first innings off a long run, and now look at that, 25% short. Look how many are full there, but I know where you're going to go.
Well, it's not really helping because he hasn't picked up a wicket yet, and he's also going for over 4 and over, and he's bowling a lot slower, so that's been a tactical change, but I'm not sure that it's the right one.
Yeah, when he bounced onto the scene, he was aggressive. He hit people and broke hands. All those lovely things, all horrible things. But now he just looks like somebody struggling a little bit with his radar, and he's running up, putting the ball there rather than using his great asset, which is, because you would almost describe him as a strength bowler. And he's just going through motions here. That'll be 4. Is it off the pad or the bat? It's off the bat, says Ian Gould, and the score goes to 207 now for 3. Not that a captain is overly concerned about the average of his bowler, so long as he's knocking people over.
Well, exactly, and that's his job. That's why I can't understand this change of strategy where he's just bowling very medium pace off a short run up, just trying to do a stock bowler's job. It's just not him. And in the situation where Australia are trying to win, that's the last thing you want Mitchell Johnson to do.
It's Tour of Sri Lanka, 0 for 26, 2 for 56, 2 for 48, 0 for 61, 2 for 122. The tour prior to this tour.
He's got some work to do, otherwise he might lose his spot in this Australian team. A lot of changes happening in Australian cricket. They've got a test series coming up against New Zealand where they'll be able to experiment. 2 test matches there, and then a big series against India, so they want their best combination to be available for that one. That is in Australia.
This is Siddle. Looks like Peter Siddle certainly settled into a sort of a channel outside off stump, and he'll just stay there. He's not going to try and bowl it straight to hit the stumps. He's going to say to Amla, you can leave the ball alone all you like, and I'm not changing my strategy. If you want to hit it, you got to come to me.
He's just got that look in the eye, Hashim Amla, where he's very focused. Nothing restless whatsoever.
Gets one. Has to run round the bowler, which took him just a little bit longer. And the bowler You say, well, who's right and who's wrong? The bowler's got every right to stay where he is, so long as he doesn't shift into his line. And Amla's had to just dive round him. Took him a bit longer to get to the other end. I just want to know what happens when the batsman has to change direction to avoid the bowler. Way. Now, South African bowlers won't be sorry to see that. They'll be hoping very much that it hasn't done any damage to AB de Villiers.
Those cracks you were talking about this morning widening by the afternoon of day 4, and on day 5 this will be happening more often. And if you're bowling at Morne Morkel's pace with his height, it'll be nasty.
.208 for 3.
Oh yes, what a shot. That's a beauty of a cover drive from Hashim Amla for 4.
This has been a quite superb innings. Just every now and then he just launches in the most magnificent shot. Particularly through the covers, he's been so strong. And the balance has just been perfect. Really has played well.
And again, aerial for a little bit, but the same result, 4 through extra cover.
Well, if anything, this is better. Same delivery, same result. Perfect balance, perfect timing, and crunch. She goes through the covers.
Yeah, touch squarer than I thought initially. Predominantly square. That's where Hashim Amla scores his runs. Earlier in the day we showed you a wagon wheel of where he has scored his runs against Australia, and it's been in that area. Those 2 shots with the Australia bowls looking to bowl full, looking to get him to drive and set a trap in the gully and the slips, but he's been good enough and able to judge which ones to leave, which ones to play.
It's been quite superb. Just have another look at the first 2 deliveries. Identical deliveries. Maybe the second one might have been the off-speed delivery, but unbelievable placement and power.
Oh yes, just the timing on that. The sound it makes off the bat, you know straight away as the bowler, oh, I've been caned. Went for 4 quickly to the fence.
And this what makes Hashim Amla so dangerous, because he can play either side of the wicket with equal placement and precision. It's just great to watch. The hotspot confirms that right in the middle of the bat.
220 for 3. Some good work being done by Peter Siddle. Good pace as well, 142.4. And 190 as a lead is, well, ominous. It's getting ominous, certainly for the Aussies. They need somebody to provide some inspiration here to do what Steyn did yesterday for South Africa and rip through this batting lineup.
Yes, as the cloud cover thickens, just 1, just to give you just that little bit of incentive to keep battling away.
It's a worried look, that.
Yes, it is. He is normally, you know, smiling and quite jovial, but as we look into the skyline there, the lights are really starting to take effect. It's getting quite murky, and we've just had, it's almost like carbon copy over the first 2 days. The evening starts to thicken up, the clouds roll in.
I'm happy about something was maybe De Villiers there. There's a look to De Villiers, what Siddle has been doing. The boundaries, you can see one was perhaps too full. The other one he'd probably have felt was a decent length, the one in the middle, and the other just too wide and short as well. Put away by De Villiers. Oh, a bit of confusion, but fortunately no trouble. Bit of ball watching there for maybe De Villiers.
There's probably always a single there, quite wide, of Brad Haddin, who parried the ball. Quite comfortable for the man backing up to come through, but maybe there wasn't a lot of calling. Yes, no, wait, sorry, yeah, okay. Something along those lines anyway. But no dramas at the end of the day.
We'll take a wicket, Australia, whichever way it comes, run out or whatever. Siddle's built up a head of steam. He really is running in for his skipper. That sort of blow will just keep coming all the way through the day. I remember seeing him for the first time. It was an Australian tour to India, where things were particularly difficult for them there, and wickets were flat. I think you called that, actually. You might have been on comms over in India, and he'd just turned up on the scene. And noticed it then that he'll just keep coming, as he has done in that over. A decent one. 2-2-1 for 3. Oh dear, it was in the air. Shouts of catch it, all happening there. Pat Cummins falling over through his follow through, and the ball stuck in the pitch a little bit.
This was very wide and just bunted, well, wide of Ricky Ponting at cover, and right in the middle between the bowler and his follow through.
Yeah, illustrating your point there, starting out at the golf course end. De Villiers just expected that to come through quicker. Didn't quite get to him. Could have gone straight to Ricky Ponting at cover. It was in the air for that length of time off De Villiers' bat.
Yeah, well, obviously punter didn't see it. He was probably looking for like a cut shot type. And it just bunted past him.
Tough test for the body, for the youngster Pat Cummins. The batsmen will look to concentrate, make sure they give absolutely nothing. Partnership 131. South Africa had 111 partnership in the first innings, and when that was broken, then it all came crashing down. They wouldn't want that to happen again. The very fact that it did, though, will give Australia hope that if they can break this big one, then they can get through the rest. Oh, bowled. Good energy. Closer and closer to that 140k an hour mark.
He's been impressive, hasn't he? That's a young man, 18 years of age. And he's been looked after, trying to get sort of short bursts out of him, 4 or 5 overs. But at 18, he's been so impressive with the lines he's bowled, and he's created more doubt in the opposition than the other bowlers.
Yeah, there's just been an expectation when he's run up and bowled, particularly when he's been fresh. It's unfortunate from an Australian perspective that Shane Watson isn't able to do some of the workload, because I think then you would get more explosive spells from Pat Cummins. Workload's just a little bit too much, and particularly when you're nowhere near accustomed to this sort of cricket, just his 4th first-class game. A maiden. 2-1 for 3.
Australians were to pick up just a couple of wickets in this little period here before the end of play. All of a sudden it would be still even Stevens. I think this is still a pitch you could get, you know, late 200s, 300 on batting last. He's cranked it up, hasn't he, Pete Siddle? Like late in the day, he's just found a late burst.
He's a strong boy. Let's look at his front foot landing. If you're under any doubt as to how tough it is to run up and bowl from quite far back and bowl at 140 odd kilometers an hour all day. Well bowled, sir. Good line, good length, a little bit off the pitch as well. Just went away. Got Hashim Amla playing at it.
Oh, this is a beauty. Well, unfortunate for him, nothing for the effort. No edge, no nothing. Really bowling a good spell, just sparring outside the off stump. We haven't seen a lot of that from Amla, particularly in recent times. He's hitting the ball right out of the middle of the bat. I just get the feeling the umpires are getting a bit jittery about the light.
Need good wheels if you're going to run up and bowl fast. Protect your feet, protect the rest of your body. At least 7 times your body weight goes through that front leg as you bound and go over to deliver. Not a natural action, bowling, so take strain on the body. You've got to look after yourself, got to make sure. Well, we spoke at lunchtime about warm-ups and warm-downs and so forth. And they are somewhat beneficial. Starting point, of course, is making sure that you're fit and strong.
Yeah, it's a good start. Now we have the 2 umpies just having a little conversation about the light, and if it's a similar sort of level as it has been the last couple of nights, well, they're bound to take the sides off.
Yeah, the cloud cover is not as much as on the first 2 days, I don't think, anyway. Difficult to tell from sitting up here and looking through windows. But the umpires will have taken a reading and will know what that reading is and keep it in mind. It is solely up to them. They'll decide as to whether they feel that the light is good enough or not good enough. It's nice also to have Ian Gunnar Gould out there, and umpires do a great job, but Gunnar Gould will have been out there and experienced all this in his long playing career, and so will understand the trials, the tribulations of the batsman when it comes to the light issue. Well bowled. Another probing one. They're stringing them together, the Aussies. 2-2-1 for 3. Nicely played. Won't quite get to the fence, but de Villiers will pick up 3. Bit of shape.
Twice as quick as you.
120. I thought I heard something in the stump mic. He says, look, I'm bowling as quick as you. I don't know who's standing up there at cover. One of the bowlers, they won't be happy with that comment. 120 punter, not 140.
It's good lines, good length. 2,038 runs against South Africa in 22 matches. Ricky Ponting, average of 53, 800s and 10 50s. Well played. Just straight in line. And a fine leg glance for 4. By Hashim Amla.
He's just drifting down that leg side, Ricky Ponting, and Amla's been so good at just picking that ball off his hip and getting the ball nice and fine. That's money for jam for Mr. Amla.
Yeah, he got a bit clever, did Ricky Ponting. You can see his thinking. Swung it away a few times, then tried the in-swinger. See, there you go, there's that shape away. The one that went for 4 started it a bit too straight. It swung as well, but swung in and was nudged down to find leg for 4. Those figures that I read as he came on to bowl Ricky Ponting, they announced it on the PA system, and these people at the Wanderers, these South Africans, obviously know that he's inflicted pain in the past with bat in hand. A few boos went round. 2-2-9 for 3. Now the boos around the ground from the crowd are because the players are making their way off the park, and it is because the light is not good enough to continue playing in. And it'll worry that man. You'll have heard Alan Border a short while ago say that Australia want to keep the game moving because they're the ones that are behind.
We might see a bit of this tomorrow as well, and also the next day, but at the moment it's Hashim Amla not out on 89. Really has played very well indeed, and AB de Villiers, who was terrific in the first innings, not out 70. And the stand has been very impressive. Prince to come, who got 50 in the first innings, then Boucher, yes, we know he can play, and also, yes, he needs some runs. And then Philander, who can wield the willow, averages 23 in first-class cricket in South Africa. Steyn and Walker will like to have some fun, and Imran Tahir, we're hoping he doesn't have to bat. But 229 for 3 it is, 69 overs. The run rate is pretty healthy overall at just under 3.5. In a situation like this, the Australian bowlers, well, they toiled hard. Of course, they're a bowler short, a key bowler short.
Yes, I think they've really missed Shane Watson, but I've been so impressed with Pat Cummins through his 17 overs. He ruffled the feathers of some pretty good players out there. Siddle's toiled really hard for no return. Lyon was quite impressive. And the rest of the bowlers, the part-timers, couldn't do any damage either. But overall, the bowling hasn't been too bad, but the batting's been outstanding.
I just want to point out Peter Siddle, 6 overs at the end, just conceded 3 runs, 3 maidens as well, and a couple of deliveries, over 145 k's per hour. So that was good stuff from Siddle, showing some real intent, and 3 for 90 they were. South Africa at one stage, now 229 for 3 as we have a look at what has happened in this, the second test match. And we say it again, the final test match, sadly, of the series. South Africa winning the toss, 266. They lost their last 6 for 25. Australia were flying at one stage, lost their last 10 well, in fact, their entire 10, if you like, for 120, I think it was, 127, if not mistaken. And South Africa in their second innings are doing very well at this stage with Umla and de Villiers in control.
News, though, is that the day has been called off for today because of bad light.